So anyway, you were saying that you moved from the west to the east coast and brought 23
cats. So we run a cat rescue, and we lived in the Coachella Valley, which is like deserts of Southern California. And we moved to southern New England, and flying wasn't really on the table for moving the cats. So we rented an RV, and each of the cats got their own little carrier, and they got kitty sedatives, and we drove across the country.
Cat convoy.
Damn, I want some kitty sedatives. Sounds nice to deal with the horrors of 2021.
By like halfway through, they had mostly like gotten used to it, and then it was just sadness.
Yeah.
It was not good.
Oh,
yeah,
but
I can't even imagine.
I'll get you your own little kitty carrier, Carl. We can stick you in there and drive you around the country in an RV.
Sounds lovely.
What did we do last time, Alex? I literally do not remember.
We had just left the moon.
Did we leave the moon? We actually left the moon?
We did not arrive on Gaia yet.
Gaia. Wait, hold on. Didn't they say Earth at one point?
I don't know. Depends on the translation, I bet.
Whatever.
I think so.
I feel like they said Jupiter and Mars, but I don't know if it's canonically been named Earth.
That's right. They did say Jupiter and Mars. But the point of all this is that this is the Every F and FF podcast, and my name is Curtis.
My name is Carl.
My name is Alex.
And we have a guest.
Returning
Hi.
guest.
Yes. What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
What's up? It's Mike with the Million Cats and the cross-country shenanigans.
Old Million Cat Mike.
Yeah, I put that on a fucking business card.
Love it. How you doing? How have things been?
Good. Yeah, literally just moved across the country. And I think I was originally going to be on last week's episode, but all of my furniture and all of my belongings were in a storage unit that was supposed to be sent to our new place, and they just left it in a storage facility in Southern California and didn't tell us. So
yeah.
thankfully we have all our stuff. We have furniture now. Living in a house without furniture for 2 weeks is fucking...
The bad pod.
Yeah, the bad pod.
Real bachelor hours, like right out of college, you like move in. It's like the
It
meme
was
of like dudes really live in apartments like this and don't see an issue.
The cats got out of their carriers, looked around, and were like, "Bitch, you live like this? Like, there's nothing to climb on, nothing to scratch."
Oh no!
Yeah, nothing
Wait, so
to scratch. Yeah.
It's bad.
How many carriers do you have to use?
23, like literally one per cat. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, we have a type of carrier that we can fit 5 people in, 5 very specific people in, and it's also a whale.
This is Fat Chocobo Erasure, I do believe.
That's true. We can use the chocobos.
The Godbird travels with us. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's true. The Godbird does travel with us. That's
true. Yeah, very. Is this the first instance of an airship holding a chocobo? Because I know we had that in 7 as well.
In 7 we could do it, yeah. But yeah, this is probably the first time we could actually like bring one on board.
It'd be rad if you could just bring like a black one on board and just have it like hang out.
Oh, would
Yeah, I
love
kinda
that. Yeah.
I want to do like the nesting dolls of all of our various means of transport. Like anytime Curtis, I think you described it once as just like littering the entire map with all your trash, and like you just look at the map and there's all this shit everywhere. I'm like, yeah, I want to be able to pick up the hovercraft with the hook. I then want to put that into the whale. I then want
Wait, hold on. That one goes into the Falcon, and then the Falcon into the whale.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, the first time I loaded up Sight, and it was like, you know, an entire page worth of our own transportation methods before you get to fucking towns or locations.
Yeah. You're like, God damn it, dude. I'm just looking for Massidia. I forget where it is.
Dude, I will tell you what, like, this map, I have like the worst time knowing where everything is on this map for some reason. I don't know why, but like Massidia very specifically, I always think that it is in like the north for some reason, and it is decidedly not.
Yeah, it's like I just noticed when playing through recently, I took the Devil's Road again, and I was like, there's that long animation of just like the overworld, and I just saw it go like, and I'm like, okay, so it's going east and then south from Baron. So I should have thought of that.
Well, that's why I thought Massidia was north of Baron. It's south of Baron, but if you go, all the way south, eventually you're in the
Yeah.
top of the map again.
Yeah, it's a confusing map. I guess maybe due to the scope of the overworld when you're in the airship. Like there's points where you can just ride and only see water the entire way. Like you're just in like Kevin Costner's Waterworld.
That happened to me too many times before I realized that in the PSP version, the only way to see the world map is to use the sight spell. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
And I was like, my God, I am getting lost. This is too much.
It's a little rough.
Yeah, that was a game changer figuring out sight, because when I was trying to do it, I was like, okay, I kind of want to not have to Google the world map, mainly because that takes effort. And then I was like, oh, but sight also takes effort and MP.
I just remember that the right side of the map has like a south to north or north to south, like long stretch of islands. And then like what I do is I like go along that stretch of islands until the latitude that I know that towns are on. And then I just arbitrarily pick a direction and then I make it back.
That's like me in my hometown, where the only way I can figure out where like anything is I'm like, okay, how do I get there from my high school? Because like that's when I started driving, so I'm most familiar with that, of being like, well, I had to go there every day, so everything is just relative to its proximity to my old high school.
But once we get back to the planet, right, from the moon, we don't get to go anywhere.
Yeah, we don't actually know where we are, I don't think. Do we?
I think it's near the Tower of Babel, right?
Yeah, because we see the
Yeah.
Tower of Babel. Actually, I thought maybe I had like fucked my game up somehow on the 2D version, because when I got back to the planet, I was directly on top of one of my ships, directly on top of one, and then the whale tried to automatically land and could not land because the ship was there, and then it took back off, and I was like, wait, did I soft lock the game by putting the airship directly underneath it? Because I think it's supposed to land and then a cutscene begins, but mine had to like bounce off the ground because it could not land, and then a cutscene began.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Like,
I
oh
do
no.
like how they did prevent soft locks, even though it seems like it could be easy to soft lock in this game with the various shit that we have strewn everywhere.
Right.
Mike, what's your experience with Final Fantasy IV before we get to this crazy cutscene?
Oh shit. It was one of the first ones that I played. 'Cause I was the kid on the street. I was the youngest of 5 and like super super poor. So my older brother had an Atari, and that pretty much lasted me until the mid '90s. But all my neighbors, all my friends had like, you know, the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo. So I would like play it in bits at their house. But 2 was the first one I like sunk my teeth into, and I think almost every single time Tower of Babel, like as a kid, it just that was my cutoff point.
Yeah.
So like I didn't end up going back to it until like, I don't know, maybe like 5 years ago or something like that. But it is bone to pick with you motherfuckers. It's one of my least favorite of the like early games, and I have this like newfound affection for it because of this fucking podcast. So like it was one of my early formative memories.
You're definitely not the only one who has directly told me that it is one of their least favorites. Like, this game sucks ass.
Listen,
like-
we're just laying the groundwork here to make everyone also start liking Final Fantasy VIII when we finally get to it.
Exactly.
So you never made it past Babel, is what you're saying?
As a kid, I mean, eventually like I went back and beat it.
Well, I tried to beat this section, the Giant of Babel, on the 3D version, like I've been doing, because I gave up the
God.
2D version. And it was like fucking impossible, to the point that I like rage quit it and then went all the way back to where I was on the SNES version, and then like powered through the last 3 sections and then beat this section. And I was like, that was just fucking unreasonable. So anyway, yeah, we land, and it is too late. The Giant of Babel has already awoken.
Surprise, we were too late.
It's the only time that's
first time
happened
for
in this game.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we land, and we see the, like, depending on which version you're playing, I like the 2D version. Like, the outline of the Tower of Babel is like flashing rainbow colors, like it's doing something, right? And the giant comes out of the tower, which, I mean, like, in the early SNES sprites, it just kind of like appears over top of the tower. But I have imagination; I can believe what's happening. I'm like, oh, it raised from that hole, or like came out of the tower itself, or something like that. Whatever, I believed it.
In the PSP version, it's straight up just like the God Warrior from Nausicaa. Like, it is just 100% that scene, it coming out of the ground and just like all jangly and shit.
I haven't seen Nausicaa. I have to watch it.
Oh, you should.
That's what everybody's. They're always like, "What?" And I'm like, "I know." Bad at
Yeah,
things.
that's weird. The 3 version, it looks more like a golem.
Yeah,
It looks like a very modern design because I was watching you play the 2D version and it had a
the 2D one just looks like a dude in armor who's tall.
yeah.
It's a tall armored
Basically.
guy.
The one so there is like a CG cutscene that plays on the complete edition that I'm playing, and it kind of just looks like the Iron Giant.
It looks like Vin Diesel.
Exactly, Vince Diesel.
Vince Diesel. Exactly.
This guy's chunky. He looks like something like from, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, the 3D one looks like a weapon.
It's definitely got FF7 weapon vibes with like the shoulder.
I feel like that one definitely
Yeah.
that one definitely came out after Final Fantasy VII, so they probably it was kind of like a slight retcon to be like, well, that's
Yeah.
the big enemy that everyone knows. So
Right.
Yeah, and not just a dude.
A dude. Yeah, the 2D one
not
is
just
just a
that
dude.
guy.
It's like they just took a sprite from the in-battle sprite and just plopped it on the overworld
It kind
map
of
or
looks like
something
that. But it's like it comes out fucking firing though. Like as soon as it comes out, it is like dropping bombs and shooting lasers at the ground and shit. And like there are no cities anywhere. I mean, like I guess Eblin's there, but it's evacuated. So I'm not entirely sure. It seems to be just wasting ammunition. But like
This is like another. This is like when Sin did the whole like gravitron like super grav laser
Yeah.
thing.
The Dragon
Yeah.
Ball Z attack, yeah.
yeah.
It just fucking like burrows like wrens in the earth and like it just misses everything.
Yeah, it shoots into the ocean. It kills a bunch of fish. Like which like, you know.
It's like we saw Sin like almost rip the earth in half and like we go other places later. I'm like, no one got affected by it at all.
Yeah, that was lucky. Yeah, this thing is like just firing all around the place, exploding the mountains, and like there's nobody nearby, so whatever. But I guess it serves to show that this is one big bad MF, right?
Yeah.
He's big.
He's big. He's big.
Quite large.
Quite large. But yeah, Fusia tells us that we are too late. The giant has come. And you know the party says various versions of like this can't be happening. We were too late, etc., etc.
Is there anything we can do?
Then we see a scene of a bunch of airships show up, right? Is it the Red Wings that show up, or is it's just airships, isn't it?
They're like red airships, so
I think it's probably the same sprites as their Red Wings.
It's supposed to be the Red Wings, I'm pretty sure.
The Red Wings. Yeah, the Red Wings show up, and
actually the cutscenes in the 3D version imply that these ships are being piloted by everyone from the underworld, maybe?
the
Okay,
tanks
so they
show up
could
at the
be-
same time.
Yeah,
The
the
tanks show up,
tanks
too.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
much
Oh, the
like
tanks, right.
it basically to me it seemed like this was like the moment of like everyone coming together to stop this thing. So
Yes,
like
right.
whatever differences they had before, it's just like okay, we're all in this together.
Yeah, so like the tanks and the airships show up. We see that King Giot, or however we say his name, is there, and he's like, lally ho, here we've come to help you out. We see some of the tanks are piloted by Yang. So like Yang is here as
And
well.
some sylphs are there.
Got his ass out of bed finally.
Yeah. He says he's like, this is no time to be sleeping in bed. They're like ready to fight. Some
The
of
sylphs are like, you should not be out here. You need to be back in bed.
yeah. Sid shows up piloting one of the Red Wings, so he's brought the Red Wings. He's ready to fight as well.
It
This
says
is
time
nothing to
steal
worry
the
about.
show.
Yeah. Then we also see that I think it's airships. Palom and Porum are on the airships as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not as stone statues or like bookends for your bookshelf.
Yeah, along with the Massidian Elder, and Porum actually says the Elder lifted the spell on us.
Oh, so the elder just was able to do a strong enough spell.
Yeah.
Because I was like wondering, because you went back to Odin, the king, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Was Palmaporum still there, just outside, like just in the foyer, just hanging out?
yeah, I've been
And he was
checking
just-
in on them. I've been like, okay, can I use my gold needle yet, or can I use this?
I feel bad because when I went to get Odin, you kind of take a sub route through the side of the castle. You don't actually
Yeah,
go near the
yeah.
throne room. So yeah,
Right,
I
yeah.
didn't even
Oh.
check on them. I felt so bad.
I was just saying, like, you think the real king or whatever would just like turn off the walls so they wouldn't have to do that anymore. It's like, let him go. Let him
Yeah, they're getting ready to like unstone them and are like, all right, we have to do this really fast. Like, hold the door open. We're going to do it and then run out of this hallway.
Yeah, I like how the elder just used Esunaga, I guess, or Esunaja, because it's like they turned a stone of their own free will. You can't reverse it. And it's like,
unless you can.
Yeah, unless you can, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, it's the elders, so they were just like waiting for their dad or whatever.
Yeah, he grounded them.
It's like, no, not this again. They were just like, we're not getting out of bed or whatever. And they would just turn themselves to stone. They're always doing this shit.
Also,
yeah, so they're alive.
One of the airships is being like ran by Edward.
Yeah.
Which,
Edward
like-
and like the nurse and doctor.
Yeah, like why is Edward able to like use machinery? I don't know. That doesn't make sense. He seems like a stooge.
Yeah, this is a little clunky, I feel like.
It's fine.
Him
It's
there
fine.
with all the Trojans, right?
Yeah, I think
How
so.
much different from a hovercraft really is it?
That's
Yeah,
a
fair
good
enough.
point.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this part's super cool. Obviously, it's like, hey, all my homies are still alive, but it's also kind of like, damn, all that emotional weight I was feeling in this game, just like that's completely gone. You know what I mean? Like if you go back and replay a game and you know like a certain character like dies or whatever, and it still has an emotional
Oh,
weight.
yeah.
So now like if I go back and play this, I'm gonna be like, "Pfft, I'll see you in like 2 hours. Like,
And then Tella shows
and then
up.
Tella dies,
no, wait, I'm
and
sorry.
you feel
Yeah.
like, man, like you goofed, bud.
yeah, I was like waiting for Tella. I'm like,
Sadly, Tella does not show up for this fight.
which I think
He's
I
dead
think,
as hell.
I'm pretty sure Edward has some dialogue about that as well. He's saying like, I'm doing this for Anna and Tella.
Okay. The party gets on Sid's airship, right? And Fuseya tells Sid, he's like, all right, we need to go up to the giant's mouth. And the airships and the tanks have successfully staggered the giant. They've like given it something to engage with. It isn't advancing anymore, right? So we're on Sid's airship now. Fuseya's like, Sid, okay, you need to get up to this point. And Sid's like, who is this guy? Who is this guy giving me orders? And I love the line that Cecil just says, this is Fuseya. He's from the moon. And Sid's like, oh, okay. And like, I suppose like, yeah.
Like, Sid's been through a lot weirder shit.
Yeah,
has
Sid's
happened.
been
It's
through
like,
a
it's
lot.
fine. Whatever.
It's
Okay.
cool. It's fine.
Sid's
Yeah.
like,
Into the moon,
Sid's
man.
like, oh shit, he's pulling moon rank on me. I can't do anything.
I'm pulling moon rank.
my status is no good here.
Bigger boat, you know. The Destiny meme is very apt here. That wizard came from the moon.
So yeah, Fuseya says, we have no time. Can you get us near enough to jump? And in one of the versions, Sid says, can fish swim? Who do you think you're talking to? And I like that a lot.
That's really good. I like what he says in another version where he says, keep your beard on. There's nothing I can't do.
Yes.
Does the
I love how
Pope shit in the
sassy he
woods?
Space Pope.
So yeah, we see a little animation of the airship swooping by the giant, right? And the party jumps. And we just kind of like appear in the Giant of Babel, right?
The mouth, I guess, is where we are.
Yeah, I always thought that we were going up for some reason, but you're right, we're going down. So we're like
We're
in
trying to make it to the heart.
Yeah, as Alex told me one time, he saved his game in the dick area. Is that?
Yeah, like as we go down, there'll be names. I'll go through them as we're going through, but there are like different names of. So there's like the giant's face and the giant's neck, which is funny because the neck is literally like you complete the map by like moving one square down.
Yeah,
and
it's really
it's
thin.
It's just a little circle.
There's never enough of it.
Never.
Yeah,
enough
and there's the
neck.
chest, the stomach, and then there's like the passageway, which I think just means the sphincter or something like that. I don't know. Maybe the upcoming end of this dungeon is in the dick, and that the passageway is the butt. I don't know.
Dude, how good would it be if have you guys seen the episode of Futurama where Fry like they all shrink down and go inside Fry to like try and take care of the worms that he has, and Zoidberg just appears out of nowhere and he's riding a sperm? Imagine if that was like Tella, just like yippee-ki-yay, you'll never guess where I've been.
So this is where I have to be like, all right, well, no, I can't say that. I was getting ready to say I've really enjoyed the 3D version, but that would be a fucking lie.
Hey, yeah, that's not true.
I have, for the last like 2 or 3 episodes, I've just been playing the 3D version because I realized that like, oh my God, recording is tomorrow and I'm at work right now and I have my laptop, but I don't have my save game for the 2D version. So I'll just play through in the 3D version. So I've been doing that, and I've gained a new appreciation for the difficulty and the strategy involved. And fuck all that. This section sucks ass on 3D version. It sucks. Like, my party has like all in the 2000s HP range, roundabout or whatever. And every enemy in this entire area has a physical attack that does about 3,000 to 4,000 damage. And they're all faster than I am. And I was like, what the fuck? How are you supposed to do this? Like, this is stupid. I hate it.
I feel like the version that I'm playing is probably the easiest one out of all of them. And like, it was even tough for me. Like, I spent a good majority of this. Like, when I first got to the Giant of Babel, I was like, I need to find a save point because we just did whatever the hell we did last episode and then was immediately thrown into this cutscene. I don't know the last time I saved. So I kind of just ran through, made it to a save state and like used a cottage and saved. And then after that, I was just like, okay, well, now I need to go back and get all the treasure that I missed and just level grind because this is, and like I had already done a significant amount of level grinding with Rydia just so I could get the additional summons. And like, even still, I was just like, this was rough. Even just trying to like walk around near the save sphere or whatever and like level grind there, it sucked.
Yeah, it's not easy. Also, Alex just dropped the Amano art for the Giant of Babel in the
it's
chat.
It's so cool. Yeah.
It's cool as hell. I've never seen that. That's amazing.
It's
got some
it's
real
Alexander.
I was going to say, it's got some real Alexander vibes. Yeah.
It does. That's tight as hell. That's a good design.
Yeah, it's like a city almost. Yeah. Or a castle that walks. That's really cool.
It's fucking rad.
Or like, what was at Death's Door? Like one of the first bosses is like a giant cathedral or whatever with legs, right?
Really?
Yeah. Have you played that, Mike?
Yeah, I'm trying to the cathedral with legs.
Guardian of the Door is what it was called, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, yeah, no, I know what you mean.
He was literally just a big old just castle structure with legs waddling around. Very cute.
Love to be waddling. It's my favorite shit.
But yeah, this place is very cyber inside, as you'd imagine a robot to be.
It feels like a palette swap of the Tower of Babel, right? Like,
probably.
I feel like it's the same...
Similar, yeah.
The same thing, just different colors.
Yeah.
Less gold, more blues.
Yeah.
They're different on the 3D version, but like,
right.
I guess, they would be or whatever. But yeah, on the 2D version. Yeah.
Actually, I meant to ask, on the 3D version, does changing the battle speed adjust your difficulty at all? And I ask because when I did Odin, when I first tried Odin, I got just absolutely destroyed. But then when I reduced the battle speed in the menu, and then keep in mind, this is the PSP version. His turns came a lot slower, so I was able to do more things in between. Like, I don't know if that's intentional.
Actually, now that I think about it, I have still not gotten Odin. I went back to fight him, but I didn't get him yet. Because Rydia does not have Thundaga. Side note, Rydia does not learn Thundaga till fucking late.
Yeah.
Like, the end of the game. Like, in my naming way version save, my like FF2 save, I am in the final dungeon. I have gotten multiple pieces of the final equipment, and Rydia still does not have Thundaga. God. Like,
I'm trying
takes a long time.
I'm trying to remember the breakdown because I was doing a little bit of research on that when I was trying to just level grind. I think it was like level 45 is what I needed to get Rydia to in mine.
Something like that.
And I think it might be higher in the 3D version. It's either 43, maybe, but harder to get to because the enemies are a lot harder, or it's like 50 or some shit. But like, really so high. I don't know if we ever described in like entirely how the experience works on the podcast, and if we did, I didn't hear that because I didn't realize it until I was doing it. We can do it again. Yeah, it's if everyone gets a share of the experience. So like in Tower of Babel, I was getting like around like 50,000 experience points, but that's divvied up through your whole party, so it'll show only as 10,000 experience. So to level grind for Rydia, I was just like on the moon and casting Leviathan with all of my party members dead. And that way she would get all the experience and level up a lot faster.
Right.
And it seems like there might be some enemies here that like you could kind of exploit in order to be able to do that. It would still be tough, but I was like looking into maybe trying it. But there's the Searcher enemy in the Giant.
I was gonna say this is a good time to talk about this. Yeah,
which is just like a reskin of one of the other electronic like portal looking bad guys. That will have an intruder alert, and then when you attack him, he'll summon a monster to help him fight. And some of the monsters that he summons can be really difficult. One particularly is like the clockwork dragon, which will give you a lot of experience points, but is very dangerous. So it's like
It's a real
you
son of a
might be
bitch.
able to level grind with that, where you can just kill a bunch of clockwork dragons over and over and over again. But
Yeah.
it's
So-
rough.
When I think it was when Nins was on, Nins was talking about there are enemies that you can revive. Like if you do it very quickly, at least in the old versions, you could do this, right? In the 2D versions. So here, when you get to that searcher, right? The searcher can call in that dragon. And what you can do is you can kill that dragon, cast life on it, and throw a phoenix down on it, and it'll revive it with 0 HP. And then it will immediately die again. So you can get like 3 kills worth of experience for every dragon that pops up.
That rules.
Whoa.
And weak works on it too. So you can immediately take it down to like 2 HP, right? So you cast weak, it's down to 2 HP. You attack it once, you kill it, cast life on it, you throw a phoenix down, you get 3 times the experience. And so in like the speed run, when they do this, and like you can also do it casually, you can rack up insane amounts of experience really, really fast. In the speedrun, what they do is everybody's like in like the teens of levels at this point because they're going through it so fast. And then Rosa leaves this battle at like level 47.
Oh my god.
Like,
holy shit.
just learns every white magic in the game in one battle.
That's the hardest part of the run, because you have to match through all of the text boxes of like
Yeah.
like learned cure, curaga.
You know what? Like, joking aside, it actually is a very difficult part because like you have to have the timing just right to be able to do it. But once you learn it, you can kind of just like internalize it and then do it. But,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
This is a place you can level up.
Fucking rules.
Watching you do Final Fantasy VII speedruns recently really gave me more of an appreciation for just Final Fantasy runs in general, where especially
Oh my
ones
God.
with
7 runs are tough.
with ATB, where it's like, oh yeah, this is an easy strat when you see like one of the top runners do it and they just, kill, whatever boss.
Yeah.
But to get it done correctly, it's like there's different windows of time that you can do where you're juggling both your ATB and the enemy's ATB.
Like fractions of a second that you need to input correct things in there.
Yeah, which is really awesome. And this game definitely feels like that. I was like when I was watching you do it, I was like, yeah, that feels like Final Fantasy IV because the enemy ATB is rough.
Yeah. Oh boy, this area. And like once this is the last time. This is gonna be the last time. Okay, I've done it like 3 or 4 times before. Last time, I promise. This is my big beef, my big juicy beef with Final Fantasy IV. Right? Is that sometimes when you press like down on the menu, the cursor does not go down. You have to like hit it and hold it for a fraction of a second most of the time, and then like. If you back out of a menu and you press like down again, like say you go to the magic and then you back out of the magic and you press down, it might take you all the way back up to attack and then start going down from there. Or it might just go down to item. And there's just no fucking way to know. And so you'll just constantly put in the wrong thing all the time. And I'm just like, I hate this. I hate this so fucking much.
That sounds incredibly frustrating just because like there's been points where I've lost battles, like some of these hard boss fights or some of these like, kind of gimmicky ones where you have to be like with Odin or something, where I just accidentally on one turn used the wrong cast. I was like, oh shit, I meant to cast reflect on this person and instead I reflected on the last person I used it on, and now the enemy has reflect and I just have to try again.
100% happened to me in a boss we're gonna fight.
Oh yeah, there's some weird ones here, yeah. And like I said, I still haven't gotten Odin, but like since we're kind of talking about Odin, and I know this is like kind of an aside or whatever. I fought Odin a couple times. Again, did not have Thundaga, so I think Thundara or whatever is not doing enough damage. The last time I fought Odin raised his sword up like he's getting ready to do Zanetsuken, right? And I was like, ha, I've got you now, buddy. I'm going to throw it. I got Fusoya on tap, so I'm ready to go. I'm going to hit, actually, no, wait. I had Kane at this point because I'd already done the Giant of Babil, so never mind. I didn't have Fusoya. But the point is, though, I have Edge ready to do his blitz move, right? Like I'm ready to go. I have items that I can throw at you with thunder. Here we go. And so like he raises his sword, I input all of the thunder things, and then he just gets to attack and Zanetsuken everybody before anybody has the chance to go. And I was like, this game sucks. Like, this game just sucks.
Yeah.
Try it again, but turn your battle to the slowest speed and see if that works.
I will.
That'll
do that.
probably help. Yeah, he goes real fast. I also saw a thing when I was when I was trying to get him and I failed multiple times. When I was trying to get him, I saw a thing that was like, if you use Thundaga when he's using his sword, like he'll reset and not do that, and he'll have to raise his sword again. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. And then that was not true at all, because he just fucking killed me immediately after I did that. I was like, oh, I just need to get these all off at once.
After playing FF4 with its like jank ATB, I mean, it's the first one. Like, let's cut it some slack. But after playing this game, I cannot wait till we get to Final Fantasy V, which just has the best ATB system of all time. Because your ATB never empties, right? It never goes to 0. It just goes back to whatever your speed stat is.
Oh,
so
that's
if your
sick.
speed stat's high enough, it just like empties only halfway and just starts filling from halfway. It's genius. It's great.
I like that a
love
lot.
5 so much.
It's so good. So what you do is you just get like a really fast character. You give them all speed up gear and you put haste on them, and like their ATB, once they move, just goes backward like 3 pixels and then just immediately refills again.
You just teach
So
them,
good.
You just teach them haste and then get your entire party just rolling through.
Yeah, and you're just like doing like 12 moves in a row. It's great. That game's good. Anyway, but this is not that game. This is FF4, which is bad on the 3DS. Or at least on the Steam version.
Yeah, we got searchers. We got with those weird robot things that look like.
There are
Yeah.
there are
Clockwork
so many
Soldier?
enemies in here that I hate so much. I'm sorry.
Centurions.
Yeah, the Centurions. I like the Clockwork Soldier because it kind of just looks like you know Deoxys in Pokemon. Like he's got the different forms. He looks like the Deoxys, like different form version of like the what are they called? Like the mass-produced Ava units from Evangelion.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was this. What was it called? Armored Construct. It was
Armor
like a big
Construct,
old-
yeah.
Yeah, that thing's cool.
It's a big chunker, like.
Big Gundam.
He looks like
yeah,
a
little
Mega
Gundam.
Man villain.
Like, I just say look at him.
Do you think
Yeah.
that maybe this is like in the evolution of like the Iron Giant from later games? This guy? I feel like there are like
I
certain
could see that.
like there's
Yeah.
certain enemies from each game that feel kind of like that. I don't know that this is that, but I was just like maybe.
I can see it.
Yeah, because I don't think the Iron Giant is in this game, right?
Except for like the Giant of Babel, but yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, yeah. I don't know. That was just a thing I was thinking, but I have
Really
nothing to
makes
back
you
that up.
think.
Really dinks you dink. Sorry, Alex. I didn't mean to steal the thing that you say sometimes. I just really like
You
it.
say it too.
I know. I just really like it. That's why I say it.
You're spreading it.
Yeah.
There's no secret passages in here.
No, it's pretty straightforward. Except for like
Yeah.
one area that has like 3 different ways that you can go to pick up some extra treasure.
Yeah.
But even then, not terrible backtracking. It's pretty much right to the boss arena, right?
Yeah, once you get to the room before the boss arena, there is a save point. That's in the inner passage, which I guess is the gut or dick.
Got a lot of use out of that, let me tell you.
And depending on which version you're playing, something very different here.
There's a naming way in this one.
There's a
in the
naming
3D
way.
version.
What?
It
Yeah.
isn't- It's not the naming way, aka pudding way, as we blessed. Yeah, he could just be a Hummingway because he maybe is from the moon and he just has a shop.
In the 2D version, now I guess that like obviously there's no like naming way quests in the 2D version, so you could say that they're like technically different stories, whatever. But in the 2D version, when you go to the moon and talk to the Hummingways,
It's a Waka.
there's like it's actually Waka. There's a couple in there who actually say like renaming. What do you mean? That's not a thing. Like that's crazy. Why are you asking us to rename you?
That is
And then
heresy. How dare you?
And then another one says, at one time there was one Hummingway whose skill was renaming things, but he left and went to the blue planet. And I was like, oh, there's only one naming way who's a naming way. That's incredible. So if that's the
There was a
case,
naming way.
then I feel like the Giant of Babel one has to be pudding way. If there's only one who could ever rename things.
Well, this one doesn't rename, so he doesn't in the 3D version at least.
Well,
so
neither does pudding way now.
I guess that's true.
So, Curtis, I actually looked into how many games the Iron Giant has been in, and
Yeah.
on like the fandom page, they do have that enemy as like the Iron Giant because in
Really?
like
Okay.
yeah, the Japanese exclusive Easy Type version renamed some of the enemies and renamed this one the name for Iron Giant.
Okay, there you go.
So
Look at
it's
that.
not like necessarily one, but it's probably,
No, I'm calling that a dunk. I'm going to say I got.
Yeah, no, I
Well, Easy Type came out long before a bunch of the other games, so I mean, that totally
yeah, because
tracks.
I think their first appearance was in 2, and they were also in 3.
Oh, okay.
And they're in
Okay.
5, so yeah, 4 is just weirdly not continuing that trend. So yeah, that's an Iron Giant.
Okay. Good enough for me, baby.
Now that's an Iron Giant.
This is me smacking. This is me smacking all the Final Fantasy games and saying you can fit so many Iron Giants in this bad boy.
I go, you stay.
So the point is, I really hate this area.
Yeah, this area is rough.
It's really hard. Also, the area where
it only gets easier.
the area where Naming Way is, in the 2D version, there's not a save point there. So like in the 3D version, there's like the normal like blue radiating save point or whatever. In the original version, there is a like computer orb that you stand on, and then it gives you the same message. It's like, oh, you can use a tent here and save your game or whatever. So like it is a save point, like that's what it is, but it's not the same like little
Sprite
circle with symbols in it. It's like a weird like computerized
Did you bring
orb.
a tent?
I
Did
did.
Naming Way steal all your tents?
Not this time.
Does this little shop, because the Naming Way he was here sells this stuff. Does he? I forgot if he sells tents or not.
Oh, that would be so funny.
I don't remember.
Really
It's
funny.
like, it'd be funny if what was in stock was exactly how many.
All the tents he stole from you.
He sells you tents, but they're like 3 times more expensive than normal tents.
Yeah, real Owaka hours.
That
Yeah,
friend
yeah.
who got super into a
God.
hobby and now is just going to sell you all the shit that they gave up on.
Now, I'm not going to sell you this tent, but I will sell you an NFT that links back to this.
It's no NFT November, goddammit. No NFT November.
Son of a bitch.
You're gonna carry that ape.
Can you
Ruined
guys
everybody's
imagine? Can you guys imagine how powerful NFT artists are going to get when they realize that they can sell analog art? They can just like print out their NFTs on like high quality paper or something and maybe sell them.
Yeah, they'll call it
They'll call it
Makes archival paper.
non-foldable prints,
yeah. Fuck
NFPs.
Is the Giant of Babel an NFT? I mean, like it's destructive to the environment. It sucks for everyone involved. Like, seems like a
complete
giant
fucking
scam.
scam. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big scam.
No. So NFTs actually.
Anyway,
aren't a
these crystals
scam.
are like the blockchain in some way, if you think about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the NFTs actually aren't the scam. The real scam is Discord, because that was what was used to scam the guys out of their NFT.
Beautimus.
Just change your language.
The
you know?
real non-fungible tokens is the friendship we made along the way.
So, in the interest of having a break at some point, as we usually do, I think this would be a good time to go to break.
Yeah, I
the save
definitely
point.
think so. Mhm.
Let's do it.
Definitely want to hit that save point.
Let's use the computerized orb ball save point that we can use a tent at.
Let's pitch a tent.
Could you imagine pitching a tent in? And when I say pitching a tent, I don't mean like getting a boner, but could you imagine like building a yurt or whatever inside of this giant moving mech as it's like going through the land and destroying everything, and you're just like, you know what? Kind of tired right now.
Constructing a little
Feel a little
cottage.
sneepy.
It's
Yeah.
even better with the strat that I'm using, where I'm just using cottages because they just full heal you, and I don't have to waste the few Phoenix downs that I have. So it just becomes like the Mitch Hedberg joke, where it's like, if I got lost in the woods, fuck that, I just build a house.
Edge and Cecil are just bickering over like how the poles connect and shit like that. It's like,
right.
no, you got to twist it this way. Like this side's the top.
Rydia just summons Titan and just says, fucking just handle this.
We're going ahead, you guys. Yeah, if you summon Titan inside another Titan, it's
Oh my
just gonna
God,
be
yeah.
like the Ant-Man inside Thanos discussion all over again. Yeah, we'll see you in a bit.
So this is what I've been thinking. Have you played Minecraft?
I've heard of it.
Okay. So actually, we had an Every F and FF Minecraft server for a while. I wonder if that's still there. Anyway,
Who's paying the bills?
we go back and like somebody has been playing it religiously for like a year or two.
Some say Lear is still in there to this day.
But do you know the feeder item in Minecraft that you can like put on top of a chest, and it's like a funnel. It's a metal funnel that like instead of being perfectly round is square because it's Minecraft, right? It looks like that funnel. That's what the stairs or the things going from floor to floor here look like. And I keep thinking like, oh yeah, we're just jumping down a big funnel. It's fine.
Yeah, it's like
that's why we're going down the giant.
Yeah, it's really confusing because we are going down, but in the 3 version, they're extruded as in pointing up when you're actually going down, and when you arrive on the lower floor, it is inset as if it was supposed to like tell you're going down. It's really confusing.
Oh well.
Yeah, and
you think it should be inverted, like going up, and then there's the up version. Like
yeah, it's a two-way thing. Like you can go up and down it. Like you can.
Maybe we're thinking about this the wrong way. Maybe the head and the neck refer to its wiener, and we're actually going up the whole time. You see.
Yeah, the tongue is actually the shoe. The tongue on the shoes.
That's right.
We have found his soul all the way at the bottom.
No, your other mouth. But yeah, we go into the inner stair is called.
I think in my version it was called the lung.
Oh, weird.
On the naming way version, which I was like, okay.
Maybe it does like wind around or something because there's a passage and it goes back, so maybe it goes back up. I don't know. Maybe we're doing like a weird loop.
I don't know. The point is, we find ourselves on a very thin, one tile wide bridge.
Those always work out well for us.
Yeah, no, there's no reason that you as a like game developer would make a very thin bridge in which you cannot walk around an event tile. Also, I'm gonna put this guitar trim bar down because I think that I'm making a lot of noise with it.
I can
hear it. If you hear it when you're listening back, just add some cool like whammy effects of like.
Speaking of, the music in this area is quite good. We didn't know.
I cannot believe I didn't say anything. This is my favorite track in the game.
Fucking slaps.
It's real good.
This is my favorite track. It's great. It's great. Oh, let me tell you why it's great. I'm sorry. I don't mean to take over the conversation, but I've been thinking about this since we started. I can't believe I didn't say anything. This is the best track in this game. It is my favorite. And the reason why it's my favorite is that it begins with just bass, right? And the bass is playing minor seconds, right? Like just 2 notes right next to each other.
Yeah.
Kind of tense and like almost like a like Batesy the Jaws theme, but sped up.
Yeah. A minor second is like what they use for the psycho stings. You know what I mean? Like they're very like unsettling, right? But the smart thing
sounds like
is,
a rushing sneaky song, like or
something like that. But the smart thing is that naturally in any key, in any like normal like I guess like a Western music theory key, there are 2 times in which there are minor seconds like right next to each other in that key. And so what they do is they give you these 2 sets of minor seconds that are like really unsettling. Like you said, it sounds like the Jaws theme, right? And then boom, they hit the major chords on top of it that give you like a tonal center, and then you're like, oh wait, this isn't creepy, this is epic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it shifts the emotion around on you in the first 10 seconds, and it's genius, and I love it, and it rules.
You know what else is good about this song?
You madman.
What?
Another good thing about this song, hella ARPs.
Hella ARPs. There's hellacious ARPs in this thing.
I'm always down for some ARPs.
Love it. This is a good song. It is called Within the Giant.
Yeah,
I love it. And also the it's not the same melody, but it does follow the same contour as like the da ba da 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 da.
Yeah, like very
it's
thematic.
not the same notes, the same like contour.
Mm-hmm. Like you listen to them next to each other, they're not going to line up directly, but it's the same sort of like feeling that you get from it.
Yeah,
same
good.
Kind of
good, and that feeling is good.
So I think we may be the very first to say this on our podcast, but Nobuo Uematsu is actually a pretty good composer. Watch out for that guy. I have a feeling.
Like I
have a feeling he's gonna go a long way. He's got a good career ahead of him. Keep an eye on Nobuo Uematsu.
Keep an eye on this kid.
Yeah, keep an eye on this kid. Up and coming talent.
Nobuo Uematsu.
Umachino. He's a Umachino. Yeah, it rules. But yeah, so we're like halfway through the bridge, right? And nothing bad happens.
There's like those weird warp spheres that you saw in the Tower of Babel here too.
Yeah, that's true.
On the floor. But it's very abrupt in the 3D version. First off, Rubicante is here.
Yeah,
his voice is very very blunt in the. He's I don't know, the way he just sounds like the voice actor was lost. He has a very epic voice. He does not sound like an anime voice there, but
at last you've come.
he said come.
How I yearned for this. When last we met, you taught me a great truth.
And as he's talking, the other 3 fiends that we've beat appear around us, so we're surrounded.
And he tells us that like he learned from his last encounter with us that there is strength in numbers, and that's why the other fiends are here now.
But he didn't learn the lesson quite good enough, in my opinion, because they could have easily just washed us if they all, if they did a typical Final Fantasy battle like we have. We have 5 against 1.
All of them against us.
Yeah, if they had like all of them versus all 5 of us, like Battle Royale style, like we'd be fucked.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about this part, and then when they showed up, I was like, oh shit, and then it was one at a time, and I was like...
They're doing the martial arts thing where like one guy, like everyone's spaying back while one guy goes and takes instead of them all like just beating the shit out of us. And I mean, in the movie, each party member would be taking on a different fiend or whatever. But
in the MCU,
that would be
like
cool.
a camera pan and shit.
It'd be a single cut kind of thing, but obviously CG'd to make it look like a single cut. But
it'd be like Johnny Cage fights Scorpion in Hell, and then
hell yeah,
Sonya Blade fights Kano in the original movie. Y'all remember that?
It's been so long since I've watched it.
Yeah, it's the last time I watched it, it was on a Twitch stream that friend of the show, Mig, was putting on. And it was during a marathon of like multiple movies on VHS with the camera pointed at his CRT, so.
Yes.
Well, I remember that Johnny Cage fights.
Hell yeah.
And much like Johnny Cage.
So we fight all the fiends in a row, and this is where I stopped with the 3D version, is in this fight.
I can't imagine why.
Oh, what's so hard? You've taken them before.
Yeah, I've taken them before. It's fine. And here's the thing, right? It's not... Like, I got through Mylon Z either way, or Scarmiglione, right? Like, I was able... And all the... I will say this. All the...
Scarmo,
like, all Scarmo.
Scarlett Mohansen.
All Scarmiglione. In both versions, we don't have to deal with the trick of each of these fiends, right? Like, Rubicante does not go back and forth with his cape open, cape closed.
Much more decent this time around.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about Barbaricia doing the tornado mode or whatever. Like, we don't have to worry about a lot of these things. We can just go. But Cognazzo still does the gathering water, right?
Right.
And the thing that I just could not handle on the 3D version is that Cognazzo can gather water and then release it before a single person's ATB gauge has time to fill. So there's just no way to do anything about it. You just have to like think that like, oh, he might gather water soon. I should wait with this character for a while until I feel like it's appropriate, then start casting Thunder, and then hope that he gathers water when my ATB is about to complete. And that's the only way that you can dodge it. And then if he does hit you with it, it will kill 3 or 4 of your party members instantaneously, even if they have max HP with Shell and Protect. And there's just nothing you can do about it. And I was just like... And so I think the only... Like, now that I'm thinking about it again, I might try to go back and do it again with items. Because I think that maybe an item procs almost instantly, so I could just throw, like, a bolt item. But either way, though, I was just like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not doing this. Like, you know what? You challenged me too much, Final Fantasy 4 3D, and I am not up to it.
There's challenging, and then there's bullying. And, like, it seems like if you're playing on that kind of setting and not just dumping hours into level grinding, it's more so, like, it's just a bad time.
I've gone through the Dark Souls games and enjoyed them because they were fair. Like,
it's like whoever adapted it for the DS is like offended by easy type. Like, this is bullshit.
You cheated not only the game but yourself.
We're gonna punish them whiny little babies.
I know. And I can't.
Well, I just hit him with the Bahamut Mega Flare, and everything was fine.
We should say too, you can't leave here either. Like, once you're in the Giant of Babel, you're in the Giant of Babel.
Yeah. So if you're out of items, you're fucking shit out of luck. Depending on what version you have. I think Naming Way might sell some stuff in some versions.
Naming Way does.
Yeah.
And I will
He
say, like
wasn't
on
in
the
my
2D version, yeah, at least in the version that I was playing for the 2D one, I will say that enemies did drop items that you could use.
True. I
So,
did
like-
get some cottage drops, which is very helpful.
Always nice.
It's a
Yeah.
pocket
Dropping
in,
cottages.
Somebody pointed out on my stream when I was streaming this section, they were like, yeah, you only ever need to heal MP, and you only ever need MP items because you can always cast Cure. So, like, you can always cure yourself without anything and then just replace the MP. So as long as you have MP and MP restoring items, then, like, you are invincible. And I was like, that's a good
Assuming
point.
that your casters don't die.
Right.
Well, then
Yeah.
also, I mean, if you just keep using Bless with Fusoya,
So I want to talk about Bless now that you mentioned it.
Bless the crystals.
Because, Curtis, remember when I was like, oh, I thought it was just healing 10 HP each time.
Yeah.
Guess what it does in my version? It just
10
casts
HP.
fucking regen, and it's only 10
No.
HP each tick, and it sucks.
Lame.
And I was like,
Lame.
I was like, no fucking way. And then I looked it up. I'm like, yeah, some versions have it doing MP. That seems like the one
Yeah,
that you would
actually
want
useful.
it to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Ridiculous.
So, that sucks.
So the 4 fiends.
Here they are.
I will say there was
Where'd they come from? Who knows?
I don't know that I will. Well, maybe I should save it. Maybe I should go back and make a highlight of it because I did fucking something to Rubicante, and like I had like 20 people watching me, so I know that it wasn't just me who like I know that it wasn't like fake
Wasn't
and I
a
dreamed
delusion.
this up.
Yeah.
I attacked Rubicante and I must have gotten him stuck in like an AI loop or something happened to him. And he just started casting instantaneously. And so he cast like 12 or 13 times in a row and then just annihilated my party like 100, 200 HP at a time. He was just like, Flare, Scorch, Fire 3, and just like in a row over and over and over. And my ATBs were not filling and he was just doing it instantaneously. And I was like, does he do this? Like, is this to like make you not cast Blizzara? Like, because
Wow,
that's what
rude.
I did. And I was just like, do I not get to go? Does it, like, what the fuck? And like people in my chat were like, yo, I've never seen that before. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck happened. I might have to highlight it so people can go watch like the
Yeah,
VOD or whatever.
you should clip
yeah, I
that.
want
That
to
sounds
take a look at that.
amazing.
That's bonkers.
It's insane. And then like I fought him again and it didn't happen, right? Like it worked just fine. I was like, oh, what the fuck was that? So yeah, I don't know. That was weird. Very interesting. Again, I am playing like the naming way version, so who knows if there's something in there that does that, but like I've never seen that in that version before. So
What was the order of the fiends for y'all? Is it the same for each version? I expected Rubicante to be last, and he was third for me.
yeah, same here. Same
Yeah,
here.
so it's Scarmiglione, Cognazio, or Cognazio,
Cognazio,
however
yeah.
you say
Yeah.
it. Rubicante, and then the last one.
Barbarich.
Yes.
Abaichia.
Wait, Barbarici is after Rubicante?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
That didn't happen for me.
Oh.
Really?
Well, yeah, for me, Rubicante was last.
Really?
Yeah, see,
Well,
that's
I mean,
what I
that
was
makes more
expect,
sense. Yeah.
But
Yeah, it wasn't in the 2D version, but I didn't get past Cognazzo in the 3D version, so maybe the 3D version has Rubicante last because I didn't see the last two because I said fuck this game.
Yeah.
I think you just fight him in the same order that you can counter them in the game. That's
Yeah.
kind of the point.
Yeah, I thought that would be the
Um,
case, but it wasn't.
you'd
It's
think.
weird.
it was definitely not for me.
I kind of like the way they do it in the 2D version in a way because I was like, oh, thank God, once I've gotten past Rubicante, it's like, okay, here's a little easy out. You did all the hard part. Enjoy this one. Like, okay.
And did we mention that they the reason that they're here is that they apparently got like brought back from the dead by Zemus?
Yeah.
Which
That's what I was
actually,
about to ask. Like, how'd they get here?
that's actually kind of interesting too because like, did they know that Zemus was in charge the whole time? Were they ever
what's
subservient
the
to Golbez?
command structure been here? Like, have they just been sort of star screaming, like waiting around for their chance?
Right,
in the
right.
net or whatever, in the shadow zone or whatever, like flying through a prism and through space.
But yeah, so we beat them. We give them the whoop up.
Rubicante says, a sound and thorough defeat.
I like the way you read that. It sounded like Bill Stein. A sound.
That's kind of what he sounds like. But yeah, everyone's whining. Coznado's like, we failed. And Barbaricha is like, not again.
Yeah.
And everyone's just being a big baby. Like, we failed you, Zemus, or whatever.
You get fucking dunked on, Zemus.
So here's my other theory. Speaking of after everyone just poofs, right? That we're in the balls.
Yeah. We have to go kick the giant in the balls.
We gotta go kick the giant in the balls now.
That's a really good point. I didn't even think of that.
It's true. Because in the next room,
got 3 balls.
Yeah, because in the next room, we go into Fuseya lets us know that this is where the CPU is. We destroy the CPU, we can take down the giant, right?
He says this node controls the giant's operational systems, and man, oh man.
What's the name of a CPU that people like? Somebody make a computer joke.
Wario. Wario from Mario Party. If you play against
Is this
him,
a Ryzen? Because it's huge.
There it is. That's what I wanted. It's
Okay.
a Ryzen.
I stand by my answer.
I just like, Carl, no.
It's a master computer, basically. They should have just given it a face. That would have been very fun, like in Tron.
They should have given it Wario's face. Really,
The only computer
missed
thing I knew to
opportunity.
say was like a GTX 3080, but I was like, I don't know that that's a CPU. I think that's something else.
That's
It's a
GPU.
GPU.
It's a GPU. I was like, that's some other computer thing. Sometimes people ask me what is in my computer. They're like, what kind of parts did you buy? And I was like, well, I told Alex that I wanted a computer, and then he helped me pick everything out. So I don't know, whatever Alex said.
I forgot that I built your computer.
You
too.
did build my computer. I had Alex come over, and I was like, I'll buy you dinner if you build my computer.
Alex, I need everyone.
You buy me dinner all the time.
Not since Corona, though. I miss it.
I need everyone.
You owe me a year's worth of Taco Bell.
We have to go back to Moe's Southwest Grill again.
Yeah, I just need everyone to know that Alex is literally just like the producer of our lives. Like we would not be able to function without Alex.
I go tuck Carl in every night.
Exactly. Sweet kiss on the forehead. He always very kind. I don't even have to ask him anymore, but he always checks for monsters under the bed and lets me know that there are none. So
Make sure your little floppy sleeping hat doesn't like get in your nose. You know?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So when I'm snoozing and when I'm snoring, it's not the little end of it isn't like fluttering up and then going back down. And
You're so cute.
So Carl, you work in IT, right? Like,
unfortunately,
you know, like I think after years of everyone, you know, the mythology of you just turn it off and turn it back on again, but like I think this whole time our jobs would have been made easier if we had known about the defense node. If we could have just
oh my god.
if we could have just, you know, attacked the defense node and just shut that down, then maybe
seriously.
computers wouldn't be so bad.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, honestly, I've been working.
Does now what DNS stands for?
Yeah, defense
Defense
node.
node.
Defense node system.
It's a
Yeah,
defense node
exactly.
attack.
That's why it's always DNS. Yeah. Yeah, I've been working in IT long enough to literally believe that computers have a personal vendetta against me. So it's like
That's true.
anytime
They told me.
anytime an IT guy jumps onto a computer, it's like, oh, the issue's not happening now. And people are always like, oh, you probably think I'm crazy. I'm like, no, I think I'm crazy because I literally think this computer knows that I'm here and is fucking with me and gaslighting me and trying to make me
It's
go
on
insane.
his best behavior
After
now.
so many years, you start to develop your own kind of like personal EMP that just you get your no, I'm fine. I didn't do that thing.
Yep.
Carl keeps getting Globe 199 at his job.
Exactly. you want to tell us what Globe 199 is?
So this battle is really kind of wild. Like it has like a lot of moving parts to it, right? So we enter the battle, and there's the CPU, which is a big ball,
The daddy ball.
the daddy ball. This is not as big as the bad ball from FF10, you know, considerably smaller than that one, but a ball nonetheless. And then there are two smaller balls. So there's the CPU and the
Not
two
as
smaller
small as
ones.
Blitzball.
And the two smaller ones are the attack node and the defense node, right?
They look identical, though.
They do look identical, and if you're
That
playing
they
the
do.
SNES version, you don't know which one's which until you kill one.
Yeah, you just have to guess. They're like, wait, let's take out the defense one first, and then like you have to fucking guess.
Right.
You can
So-
sort of,
or-
you know, discern because like the little flash of like which one is taking action. One of them is
Yeah.
clearly attacking you. One of them is clearly healing. But like, yeah,
Oh, that's
if you're not
fair.
paying attention to that, then
That's
there's
fair.
literally no way to know.
At least in the 3D version, if you're attacking the defense one with magic, you'll notice that you're healing it. So you have to like specifically do like physical attacks on the
that's
defense
wild.
node.
Gotcha.
Like, oh, okay, that one's getting healed every time I fucking use Thundaga and everything,
I
which is
see.
not great. But everything else, yeah. It'd be funny if you could cast Reflect on that one, so when you did attack it with magic, it would just bounce off. But it only bounce off and hit you instead. But I just want to nullify it magic on that one ball.
So
You're very clever.
this is kind of weird. The way this works, right, is that the defense node is healing the main CPU as you go, and the attack is constantly using an attack called Mazer, at least in the 2D version. that hits all of your party members for 3.
What is using Mazer?
It's like
The
about
attack node.
2 to 300.
Oh, attack node.
Yeah,
Okay.
2 to 300 in the 2D versions, which, you know, most of my characters had like in the upper 1000s, lower 2000s. So this isn't too bad of an issue by itself, but it attacks constantly and it has a very, very fast ATB. So I did have to like dedicate a party member to just Kiraga every single turn to keep up with Mazer. If you kill both the attack and the defense nodes, it will cast Globe 199 2 to 3 times on you, which just instantaneously kills a party member. So it just whittles down half of your party immediately for killing both of them. And then it heals itself as well. So like you kind of get punished for doing that, right? So you don't want to kill both the attack and defense node. The defense node is always healing it, so it's best to leave the attack node alive and then take out the defense node, right?
So it's also important to mention, I think, that in some versions of the game it's called Object 199. So,
is it?
Same thing, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It also
Yeah.
the CPU casts reflect on itself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing you have to watch out for. So it's kind of like you can't really cast magic on it. Though I went through this incredibly slowly. Like once I was
It's
able,
rough.
once I was able to get into the rhythm of it, I just had constant curing and then my 3 attackers. Well, I say my 3 attackers, but really we have 3 mages. I just happen to also be using Iridia's whip to get like a couple more damage. Actually, now that I think about it, Rosa with the Yoichi arrows did a pretty good amount of damage.
Which one of
Like-
the treasure chests here has a Yoichi arrow? Like 10 of them, so.
Yeah, and she does pretty good damage with it. Like,
She does, yeah. And especially if she gets
I
crit.
ran out of those by the end of the fight.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so did I. Luckily, you can re-equip arrows in the mid fight.
Yeah. Interesting thing that I just found here where Fusuya's instructions to destroy the defense node first are erroneously retained from the original game because, like, the one that's actually the one you should look out for is the attack node.
No, you need to destroy the defense node.
No,
The-
that's what he says, but apparently, according the attack node deals much more damage, so it should be defeated first before it can knock out most of the party.
But if you kill the attack node, then the defense node is still curing it, and you have to defeat the defense node. And then once you do that, then it casts the 99.
I think what this is saying is that it's like it's better to kill the attack node and then like deal more damage than it can heal. So that way it's like it's barraging you with attack.
Oh,
I don't know.
interesting.
I mean, this is also just on the fandom, so it might be complete bullshit.
Yeah, because I feel like the defense node was curing, at least in mine, for like 3,000-ish, 4,000-ish, almost every, and it was getting 2 to 3 turns per like character of mine.
Yeah, and I could only do a couple hundred damage to it, so like I definitely wouldn't have been able to put it.
No, that definitely makes sense then. Yeah, I guess that's just
also-
like the person who wrote that. I guess that was just like their opinion on it, but it's written in a way that it's like fact. It's like it was erroneously retained, and I'm like, well,
I mean, that's-
says who?
That's kind of interesting, though. I mean, like, I guess we all kind of did it a very similar way, but there probably are like multiple ways to do this fight. I thought about summoning, and I threw Bahamut in there, but like Bahamut just kills everything instantaneously.
Yeah.
Although I think you were saying the defense node absorbs magic, right? So maybe if I used an elemental magic like Leviathan or Ifrit or something, maybe that would have done it.
Yeah, I wonder. I forget what I did. I don't think I had that problem with the defense node, but I think I was also kind of just going like full steam ahead and didn't really care too much about Object 199.
I wonder if that's 3D version specific, because I remember like I had accidentally, I think with Rydia, done like a Thundara on all, and it had killed both the nodes. It was an accident because I wasn't trying to. I had accidentally selected all instead of just the defense node.
Makes sense.
For me, I've noticed that if you wait too long, the big orb will just revive one of the smaller orbs.
It does that.
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
yes.
So it will after a couple of turns.
So there's a constant just uphill battle trying to fight.
It'll
this
do
thing.
both of them.
Oh no, I don't. Do you know if you take out the big one first, if the 2 ones will just fall with it?
would
No,
imagine-
you do have to attack the other one still.
Because you still have
Okay.
to kill the attack node after, or the you have to kill the attack node after you've defeated the defense node and then the CPU. I'm really interested to, like, from a crediting standpoint, if the whoever the designer on this particular battle was, if they were involved in Chrono Trigger at all, because like I don't know if you all are familiar. The final
It's
boss
kind of
of
like
Chrono
the final
Trigger
Lavos.
Yeah.
it has
makes sense.
a lot of similarities with this sort of
The-
like left versus
What's-
right versus.
What's it called? The drill bit? The
it's
safety
called
bit?
the safety bit and the drill bit.
Yeah, those are like, and I think the safety bit is actually Lavos, right?
Right. If you beat
Yeah.
that, then you beat all three. It's fucking weird, but
Yeah.
God,
Fair enough.
I need to replay Chrono Trigger. That game is so
I'm looking
good.
it up right now. Hold on. Who was the battle programmer on Chrono Trigger? Battle plan.
Well, you're
is
looking
hidden
up
in
that
the
there
shadows.
was something that I forgot to mention in the segment leading up to this, where at least in the version that I was playing, if you used thunder on the like mechanical enemies, like the clockwork enemies, they would get confused, which is super
Oh,
cool.
that's
Really?
cool.
Like it didn't say
Interesting.
that they were confused, but I would just be like throwing off like Thundaga at all of them and not killing them all, and then some of them would just be attacking one another. So I think it's like
Interesting.
you
That's
kind of
cool.
you short circuit them, so it's pretty sick.
So Kyoshi Yoshi was a battle programmer for both Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy IV.
Not
Hey.
not surprised.
Makes sense.
Good to know. I'm sure he's in the dev room.
One trick pony. God.
So that's the CPU. Pretty tough fight. A lot of people say that they get stuck on the CPU, and that's like the last thing that they do in FF4. But with our guide that we've given you today, you should be able to beat the CPU. So
Turn on and turn off again.
Yeah.
turn it on. Yeah, turn it off, turn it on.
It's-
except don't turn it on. Just leave it off.
And lower the battle speed.
And lower the battle speed. So once we fight it, one of my favorite hilarious scenes start, and I don't know that it's supposed to be hilarious, but in the 2D version, it sure is hilarious. We beat the CPU. The giant stops moving, as we're told from the inside. Edge says, "Oh, the giant has stopped moving." And then Golbez just runs in out of the back room. Like he was just hanging out in whatever the back room was. Like there's just another room in there. And he just throws the door open. He's like, "You jerks, you killed the fucking giant. I'm going to kick your ass right
You
now."
killed the Giant of Babel. What did he ever do to you?
And it's like, I don't know. Like I feel like Golbez is like a person that we like ascend to their throne. And then they epically like shout at us from on high. They don't burst in from the side room, from the fucking bathroom,
What
and be
are you
like,
doing?
"You fucking idiots! Why would you do that?"
Why'd you turn my computer off? I was downloading something.
I know he has like real whiny energy to this, and I was just like, it's not a good look for Golbez. He should just run in because he's like, that's it. Kid gloves off. I'm kicking your ass right now. He kind of like says that, but Fusoya stops him right, like before he's able to come get us. Fusoya says, "Do you not even know your true self?" And Golbez is like, "What do you mean my true self?" And Fusoya casts a spell and says, "Awaken." And there's like a little spell
Awaken.
animation. Awaken. And Golbez returns to his senses because we've learned that he's being controlled by Zemus, right?
Yeah.
Um,
So all along
And,
we were kind of thinking that Golbez was the mastermind, up until like last week or whenever we found out
Right.
about Zemus. And it's like, oh shit, it wasn't Golbez mind controlling Kane and all of that. Like this has all been like, who the fuck is Golbez then?
Alex, I hate you.
Sorry, I just posted a screenshot from the 3D version where it just says Golbez is like, where she's coming to his senses.
Why? Why was I so consumed by hate?
It's a great camera angle.
But for some reason, Golbez's texture has two pink dots where, like, if he were a cow or like a cat, these are like where the two middle nipples would be. So it looks like he has two nipples just on his armor.
It's wonderful.
Who decided this?
But Fusoya says to Golbez, he says, so you've regained your sense. Do you remember your father's name? And Golbez says, my father, his name was Kluya. And like, that's Cecil's dad's name. Holy shit!
My dad has the same name.
Yo, how wild is that? Our dads have the same
it's
name.
just like
Small Moon, am I right?
Every Lunarian is named that.
We both have a long lost brother and we have the same dad's name? What are the odds?
yeah, it's just like the ending of Batman versus Superman where it's like, wait, your mom's name is that or whatever? Like
I was gonna say SpongeBob and Patrick when they're wrestling and they have each other's colored underwear.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The pink and the yellow underwear. You really do care.
These were white when I got them.
That's great. So we find out that
Brother.
Golbez is Cecil's brother from his father Cluya. Thus,
Surprise.
Yeah, thus pulling together all of that. And Fusoya says, "You were being manipulated by the all-powerful Zemus. Your Lunarian blood rendered you an easy target for his curse, and bound your thoughts to his." That sounds a little sus.
Yeah, it's okay.
I've been listening to
because-
a lot of like war history podcasts recently, and they're always like, "Oh, your whatever blood made you easy for this, blah blah blah. Now let's go to war." And I'm like, sounds a little eugenicsy for me.
Yeah,
Fusoya.
it's okay
I don't know
though.
if I like that.
Fusoya
Racist.
is also Lunarian, so it's fine.
It's okay if he says that. Yeah.
It's fine. My nephew's Lunarian.
So
Yeah, he doesn't mention his relationship, like you're my nephew or whatever, right? Because Fusoya is our cool moon uncle, right?
Monkel.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. He is. He's both of our cool moon uncles. Now you were saying while I was streaming this during the podcast, but during my stream playthrough of this, Alex, that there is a flashback in the 3D version.
Yeah, so what happens in the 2D version during this cutscene for you? Just kind of, and I'll jump in when it...
Golbez
it
and
seems like-
Cecil awkwardly don't speak at each other at all. And then Golbez and Fusoya just kind of arbitrarily are like, all right, we're going to go kick Zemus's ass together. Deuces. And then they leave.
Yeah, they're like, we're gonna team up.
It's also worth noting that after Fusoya casts the spell, his character sprite is like his like death one, where he's like on the ground, like casting that spell literally knocked his ass out.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I was noticing this watching the 2D version on Curtis's stream, that when Fusoya dies, I think it like it's almost like he doesn't have a body under his robe. It looks like he's just a head.
Yeah,
There's
he just
a
like
pile of-
he just like
there's
melts.
a pile of robes and beard.
His 3D and 2D sprites, or model, I guess, for dying is fantastic. Because in the 3D one, when he's killed,
He
his
just goes
physical
Obi-Wan,
body,
right?
he goes Obi-Wan. It's just his robes fall to the floor, and
Fucking
that's
raw.
it.
He just
But in the 2D version, it's so funny. He's a
raw.
big sack of beard.
No,
he
he-
looks like a little squid with a
yeah.
I
saw-
love it.
I just thought he looked like a cat that like lays in a weird way where they just look like a puddle.
Yeah,
I just sent you the sprite map of all of them, but the
I
one in
love
the
it
very
so much.
bottom right where he's just like looks like he's just snoozing in a puddle.
So
Love
good.
it.
He melted.
But yeah, so what happens in the 3D version here?
So yeah, there's a lot more that happens in the 3D version, which actually I'm really cool. I'm really impressed with how much they added into this. So after like Fusoya says, your Lunarian blood rendered you an easy target or whatever.
Oh, we also learned Golbez's real name.
Yeah, we'll learn this in this cutscene.
Oh, in the
for me.
cutscene for you. Okay, go ahead.
So Cecil says, I fought him. I hated him, my own brother. But if it were me, the one Zemus chooses to control, our roles might just well be reversed. And then Golbez is like, no, there was evil in me long before all this. I'm the one who abandoned you. And then we get a flashback. You literally see Cluya and Cecil and Golbez's mother on the bed after she just gave birth to Golbez. Says, Cecilia, you did wonderfully, my love. He's a healthy little boy. Indeed, a gift from the gods. Theodore, which is we'll learn is Golbez's birth name.
Theodore.
Oh,
That's
interesting.
one of the chipmunks. Boo. Boo this man. Boo.
We'll call him Theodore. It's a boy's name. It means gift of the gods. And then we get a little flash forward.
Anybody who's named Theodore who's listening to the podcast is like, wow, what the fuck?
Shout outs to my
Sorry
friend
about
Theo.
Yeah.
Love Theo.
We get a little flash forward and we see a kid waking up from a bed and it says Theodore, yawn. And then it took me a second to realize, like, oh, we're playing as Theodore
Is
now,
this like
aka Golbez.
This is the Muppet Babies to the Muppets? It's like the 4 babies.
So this did not happen at all. I didn't even get his like actual name or anything. I don't think.
Oh wow.
Same.
Interesting. We get to play as Theodore. It's like nighttime or whatever. You can check up on your mother and then you go outside and there's like, you're in some town. We don't really know where we are, but you're in some random town. There's villagers talking about like how Cluya was like very nice and kind and like gave them magic and stuff. He gave us magic and the means of which to sail the skies. And there's an old man says, if knowledge continues to spread, some kingdom will inevitably employ the wage war. It's unfortunate, but such is the way of men. So yeah, Cluya is the one who like gave like all these like cool technological advances and shit to the people of whatever this planet is.
So wait, that you know what that makes Cecil? He's just like some fail son trust fund kid.
Yeah, pretty much.
His daddy gave the entire world magic, and then he just went from town to town, failing constantly for the last like 30 hours, not actually accomplishing anything.
We see our dad, Kluya, our dad as in us, Theodore, and he's looking up at the sky, and it's cool because you see his two little like light reflections in the pond that he's hanging out in front of, which is implying that he's like looking up at the moon. And Theodore says, "Oh, you're watching them again, aren't you?" Like, "Oh, Theodore." Theodore is like, "You really like them, don't you? The moons." "Yes, I do." "Why?" "I'll explain it someday when you're old enough to understand." "I am old enough. I can even use magic already." He's like, "Have you mastered Cure?" "Well, not yet, but then you have some things to learn, haven't you? Come, it's late. You should go to bed." "All right." A few other things happen, but you come back and you realize that your mother's like she's on the floor, and you think I check up on her.
Oh no, she's got moon sickness?
Yeah, maybe. And she's like, "Oh, don't worry, I'll be fine." Like she's back in bed now. And like there's a little foreshadowing, like, "Oh, but your face is so pale." "Well, that's because I've been working very hard. I have to make sure this little one will be all right." So she's pregnant. And like this is not farewell for her. "Your little brother or sister?" "I'm gonna have one?" "Yes." "Yay, I'm gonna be a big brother."
Aww.
Yeah, so like, oh, it's so cute. Like this is like a real big tragic backstory. But
So fucking sad.
Yeah.
yeah, but long story short, the next morning or like sometime in the future, Kluya is like found like beaten to death outside of Theodore's house. It's rough.
Holy shit.
There's a people.
God damn.
It said it was the ones who disagreed with his teachings. So this is like a fucking like Jesus like fucking
No.
thing that's going on. They used magic. Kluya did not even raise an arm in his own defense. And Kluya's like, "Theodore, father, you all right?" Kluya like, "Was I mistaken?" And Theodore's like, "Of course not. You can choose how people use what you teach them." Like, "Thank you, Theodore." And then like it's implied that he passes, and then like poor Theodore is like trying to use Cure and just cannot use
Oh
Cure.
my god.
It's like it's so sad.
sad.
They're basically
Sad.
doing a Darth Vader on us. Where like
They're-
it's just like this guy had a real sad upbringing.
They're
and, like, he
basically-
couldn't save his mom.
They're basically doing the end of Pokemon, the first movie, where Ash is turned to stone and Pikachu just keeps shocking him, trying to get him back to life.
But then we jump forward and like Cecil is born, and it's so tragic. Like I'm just like blown through this, but Cecilia like, "Oh, can I hold my child?" And then she also passes while she's holding baby Cecil.
Of course.
Yeah, like she knew the rest of his birth, and she still went through it and stuff. And then as Theodore is like looking over Cecil, like just him and the baby, the screen turns red and we hear this voice. It says, "A vile thing, isn't he? That brother of yours." And Theodore's like, "What?" "He is the root of all you've suffered. If it weren't for him, your mother and father would both still be alive." It's like, "No, you're wrong. And you are a vile little insect, birthed from womb of dragon corpse, are you?" And stop
Yeesh.
talking to me. "I name you Golbez."
Whoa. Zemus, you dick.
That's pretty sick.
It's pretty fucked.
It's really dark. We flash forward and like there's some soldiers. I think it's the soldiers of Baron, and we hear some baby crying. And sure enough, under a tree, they find the baby of Cecil. And King Baron comes like, "What is this?" "He appears to be abandoned, your majesty." "The poor child." "What is it, my liege?" And like King Baron has a moment of recognition. Cecilia, apparently. It's like, "Your majesty?" I am overthinking too much, and yet the resemblance is striking. This child's features, they remind me very much of a person forced from Baron because of my cowardice.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then we kind of flash back to the present. And Golbez says, "When your father died, I was left behind with our mother, who still bore you within her womb. The other villagers cared for us at first, the people our father had blessed with lunar secrets. But our mother had become too frail and died shortly after you were born. I blamed you, telling myself our mother would have lived if it were not for you. I took you, still an infant, to the forest at the edge of Baron and left you there. And after that, I took the borderlands where I could hide from others' eyes, racked by guilt, ashamed to show my own face. I would not think to ask for your forgiveness now, but I'm glad you survived." And yeah, like it's pretty rough.
Damn, dude, that
Jesus.
shit did not happen at all. He's not
Yeah,
even named
that's-
Theodore.
There's a
in
lot.
this
They
one, I
like
don't
lay
think.
down a lot of heavy stuff in the
Yeah,
remake.
that's like
What better pawn could Zemus have possibly chosen than this?
I'm looking at the script for what you were just saying, because that's all in the script that I'm looking at. And it's funny because like the game that like the 2D version does pick right back up with it, but like after all of that, right? So when he's like, "Oh, you know," like starting when he's like, "No, it was I who actually abandoned you," and then all of that, you skip all of that and then just go right to this very next line where so he is like, so what are you gonna do? And he's like, I'm gonna go kick Golbez. I'm gonna go kick Zemus'
We're
ass.
gonna kill this motherfucker. Let's go.
I'm gonna go to the moon and wreck
Let's
shit.
roll.
Take our Lunarian blood and kick his ass.
Yeah. Which, like, again, I think I said this last time that, like, it's weird to me. Like, Zemus as a bad guy is weird to me because he's just some guy. Like, he's a Lunarian. He's not like a super Lunarian. You know what I mean? He's just one of them. He's just another Fusoya. He's just some other guy.
He's just a shit.
Yeah, he's just some
dude.
asshole. And so they're like, oh, I'm gonna fuck that guy up now.
Yeah, that's a really good addition, I think. Like, obviously, I didn't play it when I was a kid or, you know, have any kind of affection for it. Like, I'm learning this information a week or so after I learned the information in the main game. So I can't say, like, speak for people who maybe played the 3D version after going through it and were like, oh, that's stupid. Why did they add that? But I feel like that's a really cool addition, like, across the board. So I am going to speak on behalf of them.
It's very tight and condensed. I mean, in some ways, it does remind me of like the Star Wars prequels.
Oh, sure.
It's like, oh yeah, Darth Vader's sad upbringing of like he wasn't strong enough to save the people he loved and whatnot.
But Golbez doesn't go and commit genocide against sand people immediately, right? Like,
Not immediately, but
what was the castle he blew up?
Eblin.
Eblin, yeah.
Yeah, he killed the ninjas instead.
Yeah.
It's a bummer.
So Fusoya and Golbez leave to go whoop up on some Zemus ass. And then just Kane walks into the door. Like, again,
"Yeah,
once again, through that little side door, just being like, hey, what did I miss?
he was hanging out in
Like,
the green room.
He's just hanging out in the green room.
He's got like a White Castle crave case.
It'd be funny if he was like, all right, Golbez, you warmed him up for me? Just about to kick his ass. Like, oh, wait.
But yeah, so Kane comes out and he's like, yo, we have to escape this giant. It's going to, like, explode. And, like, you know, some of your party members are like, what the fuck you? Like Edge is like, I'm not
Edge
going
is
to trust
not
you
having
again.
it.
Edge is not having it. And then Rose is
You've
like,
fallen enough for your tricks, yeah.
yeah, and Rose is like, yeah, maybe we should like go with him. And then Kane's like, look, we can talk about all that later, but if you want to live, you'd better follow me right fucking now. And so they all do. And they all get out. They all mysteriously get out of the giant somehow. I don't know how, but they do. I guess Kane was
Through the
right.
butt.
Whatever. So, yeah.
Through the back door.
To the back door. Exactly. That's the butthole.
Yeah, that's what the passage leads to.
I start calling
They call it
passage.
the Devil's Pass here.
Did we ever come up with a swamp shoot thing?
I think
'Cause,
we
like,
said the Devil's
I was going to
Road.
say the Devil's Pass is pretty good.
The Devil's Road or whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the 3 version, we see like it's pretty cool. There's like we don't actually see it when we made the robot stop moving, but we see the giant is like completely frozen because I'm assuming we just like killed the power. I mean, what else happens when you blow up a CPU?
Yeah.
And it just falls on its back, and then we're back on the ship,
We're back on the ship.
and that's where we'll call it for now.
That is where we'll call it for now.
There's a lot of plot dump. We gotta let that settle, let that simmer.
So next week we're gonna do all the juicy bits at the end of the game. So we're here. We're at the end of Final Fantasy IV now.
I think we have full agency again, right? Of just
We do.
this time anywhere.
And
Yes.
a final party.
and a final party finally.
A final
Yeah.
party, perhaps.
Perhaps.
Because,
That's right. Yes.
There is mention
Oh,
that
true.
you should go to the Tower of Prayer, where
in Mysidia.
yeah, and I think it pretty much just tells you straight up. It's like you can change party members at the Tower of Prayer.
That is a PSP
Oh,
only
neato.
thing.
Oh, seriously? Cool. Well, yeah. So we can go and have whoever we want.
So that's where we'll end it. The next time we will finish the last flashback or two, right? Where we learn some about Kane. And then we will tackle the fucking Crystal Palace. We'll go after the final dungeon starting, which is, just in case you don't know, it's where we met Fusoya and they're the moon crystals. That's where the final dungeon is. We'll talk about the final dungeon. It's actually kind of neat. I really like the final dungeon. There is a lot to talk about there. And then we'll leave the actual like ending sequences for the last episode. So,
I would like to mention one thing about the Giant of Babel before we leave.
sure.
In the 3 version, when we do New Game Plus, there is a super boss if we return to the Giant of Babel.
Oh my
Really?
god.
His name is Giron.
Giron.
He's basically the malice of the 4 fiends, and he's basically a boss made of pieces of the 4
my
fiends
God.
grafted together.
Oh, he's like a Megatron?
Yeah.
See
So he
this
has like the sword.
area.
He has a sword. He has like the little like floaty green.
Oh, he
legs
looks
that
like
just,
he looks like Penance.
a little bit, but he has a shield. He has like the cape of Rubicante and stuff.
you're
It's
right.
really silly.
Wow.
Yeah, that's super cool.
all the fiends have turned into like a super fiend.
Oh, it looks like if you don't fight him there in New Game Plus, he will move to Mount Ordeals.
How about
Oh,
that?
I think there is a mention.
Interesting.
I think there's a mention of that when you go to the Tower of Prayer, and the elder there is just like, oh, there's a strange mist that has gone around the Mount of Ordeals. You should head there.
Weird.
Or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought we mentioned that. We probably won't do. There's a lot of post-game stuff that
Yeah.
we could talk about.
And there's probably
later,
a lot
but-
of post-game stuff that varies depending on what version you're playing that we probably won't cover all of.
And we even mentioned After Years, which we don't even know.
Yeah.
Don't even know where that's gonna go. That's not planned right now. We're not, just FYI, we're not planning on jumping into it immediately after 4.
After years.
But you know what that does mean, though? That means we're only like 2 or 3 episodes away from announcing what our next game is. So start to get excited
boy.
with that.
Finally ready to admit it's going to be 8.
I am so excited for what the next game is going to be. Like
I am beside myself excited.
I know. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I'm going to play the entire game. I'm going to try to play the entire game through once we are finished with the season or whatever. Should I give a hint? No.
No.
Please don't.
People are guessing already.
Yeah,
It's
people already
All
got
right.
enough. People got enough hints if they go back and listen to the episodes, even carefully.
You dropped a hint on the stream that I'm the only one who's played this one.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say
That's
this
not
is
true.
an Alex exclusive. Oh, well, okay.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, no, I know. I was going to say it's one that I haven't played.
Okay.
We'll tell you in a couple minutes, Mike.
Anyway, Mike, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, no, it's good to be here. Thanks for being accommodating of my weird delays in furniture and reality.
Thank you for being accommodating to my weird schedule tonight.
I was going to say, this is the one chance you get for that the next time we come after you.
Well, speaking of delay, the latency this time has been much better now that you've moved to the East Coast. So
I was
welcome.
gonna say, hopefully next time I can actually just come in person. We'll all be
Oh, that would be super
vaxxed
fun.
and boosted and
Yeah.
fucking do an in-person
Yeah.
recording.
That'd be sick.
We'll do
Baxton boosted and shelled and protected and hasted.
Exactly.
all the past guests we thought had died are like showing up in the last episode.
Knocking on the door like, hey, you can add me to your party now.
Mike shows up in a tank. Aaron shows up in an airship. All right.
Hell yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
If you're listening to this on launch day is Bandcamp Friday, so go to curiousquail.bandcamp.com and
Oh yeah.
listen to Mike's music. It's so good. I
thank
love
you.
Mike's. Your music is it's good music for the soul. If you like kind of Americana combined with Game Boy music, is
That reminds me,
I'll take
where
it.
can people find you online?
Curious Quail on literally anything. I think everything at this point. .com, Bandcamp.
TikTok?
Buy it on Bandcamp and then stream it other places. So that way I can actually buy cat litter.
Vampire Freaks. Do you have one of those?
I do not know.
I don't know if that's still a thing.
I'm almost certain.
GeoCities.
Anyway,
Alex, would you like...
Real quick.
I'm sorry.
we got Souls.
If you are listening to this on the day that it drops, the Speed Souls Charity Marathon is currently going on. It started last night and is going to be going through until Sunday. Sunday, early morning EST, assuming the schedule stays the same, which, it might fluctuate, around 9:50 a.m., I'm going to be kicking off the All Souls game relay race with Demon Souls. So you might want to check that out. It's going to be super fun. Could be a mess because Demon Souls is not a very marathon friendly run. A lot can go wrong and this game is fucking evil and it is constantly fucking me over. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe it'll be terrible, but it's going to be a good time.
I'm praying for only one elevator ride.
Yeah. The elevator ride isn't even the worst part. There's literally parts where you can just be like, well, I have to use a safe state now. Sorry.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Oh, no.
So if you do everything right, you have nothing to worry about, but the game likes to throw shit at you to make sure you don't do anything right. But
Oh my
so yeah,
God.
I'll be doing that. I'll be hosting a couple of times throughout the event as well, so you can listen to me there. And it's for a great cause. So just come hang out. You can find that at twitch.tv/speedsouls. And it's a really good time.
Hell yeah. I'm excited for Carl's team to win.
Hell
Fuck
yeah. I can also announce that I am on team Swoldoge. So we are
Swoldoge.
the sworn enemy of Team Swole Guy. So yeah.
The two swole things that you can be. In that case, Why don't you come emerge from the Tower of Babel, shooting your lasers and destroying the earth around you?
Will do. Thank you to Night of the Round for the theme music. Again, today is Bandcamp Friday, so go to nightoftheround.bandcamp.com. They still have vinyls of 7, their amazing 7 cover album, available, so go get those. There's only 300 made, so I want them to sell out.
I have one.
It's very cool, right?
Extremely cool.
It's like a big green vinyl. Yeah. Thank you, Nobuo Uematsu, Junya Nakano, and Kenichiro Fukui for the game music. Leave us a review on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts at your local podcast dispensary. Leave us a message at 530-MATERIA. Find us at every FNFF on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and Discord, and now YouTube. And it's bad to podcast. Podcasters podcast. And you don't have to be a podcast. You are who you choose to be. You choose. Choose.
Goodbye.